on Twitter, there's a couple of videos that are absolutely disgusting. Um, you can go up on my Twitter, Steve Kramer, or find me on Enslaved Ones, and you can go through some of my comments on people's tweets. I'm not gonna retweet that video. I'm not gonna post it on here. I think it's repulsive. I think it's degenerate. There's two of them, two videos where I seen just yesterday. One was these are fully grown women shaking their ass in front of little kids. This one woman was literally giving a lap dance, just about a lap dance to, it looked like a 2-year-old. This other woman, I don't know what kind of event it was. It was a real quick clip, but she's shaking her ass in front of looks like a 8-year-old. He could be 9, he could be 10, it doesn't matter. And to me, this is grooming. You know, you call out people on the left for the story time bullshit. This is blatant grooming. Because if it's the other way around, if it's a little girl and a grown man doing that, everybody would be outraged. It goes both ways. This is degeneracy, and this isn't happening throughout the population. Okay. But you can see where things are going if things keep progressing. The next generation isn't like they have no innocence. They have no innocence. They're being seen stuff that they shouldn't see until they're older. When I was raising my kids, and they were little, which wasn't that long ago, I wanted to protect their innocence as much as I possibly could, as I, you know, whatever. But the over sexualization that these kids are seeing, at such a young age, to see the purity just evaporate. It's saddening. It's really sad. I think that kids try to be. I think parents need to try to protect the kids' innocence. Not until they're adults. I mean, up until they're like teens, man. But at least until they're like 13 or something. That's what I was like, I'm just gonna protect my kids until they're like 13, and then I'm gonna start like putting stuff out there so they can see, so they can understand. And I'm not a perfect parent or nothing like that. What I'll say is, when you see like, and this is such a small group, a small scenario, but it did happen, and I can see the degeneracy of the opposite sex, where it's leading, and you can see what's happening in schools with teachers and teenage boys. And that's not looked at like frowningly, but if it's the other way around, it would be. It's the sexualization of kids. Like I said, it doesn't matter if it's a story time or if it's some heterosexual woman doing this to a child. It's wrong both ways, and it's depurifying their innocence. Their parents are wrong for allowing this. The women are wrong for doing this. And you're just gonna see this happen more and more. You know, I used to be a feminist when I was younger. I used to be a feminist, dude. You know, not when it was cool for men to be feminists either. Not when it was cool. Now it's cool. Now it's acceptable. It wasn't acceptable when I did it. It's not like I was all like telling everybody. But I thought that women were superior intelligence to men. And grant it's just their intelligence is different, but look at like the highest IQs ever and all the creation that men have done, inventions and all that. It's men. Um, Granted, yeah, we could have some of the dumbest people too, but um, I'm starting to grow more and more towards taking certain things away from uh, the opposite the opposite sex when it comes to different types of rights, just for their own good. I think that people on my side or whatever, they're all about the girls competing with guys. Like I just think that we should just go ahead and eliminate women's sports altogether. I mean, if females want equality, that's just you can compete with the guys. Just have it all co-ed, which I think you could probably do anyway. I've already seen a girl kick off, or I think it was a Colorado football team, or I don't remember which football team it was. It was a horrible kick, but as far as I know, she did one kick. It went 20 yards and went out of bounds. It was garbage. Maybe she was nervous. Maybe she was way better in practice. But she's not. She's not in the NFL being a kicker. She's not doing any of that garbage. But I think, and I'm not saying like every woman. I think women should have the opportunity. If they don't want to have a family, they shouldn't have to have a family. But I don't like people being oppressed. I don't. But I think that I'm not a Christian. I'm not. I think the Bible has a lot of good things in it. Um, you look at the story of Adam and Eve. I think that the opposite sex is like really duped pretty easily, um, and that's why you're seeing like so many feminists. I look at white leftist women as like the scum of the earth. I don't want nothing to do with these people. They don't have a mind of their own. They can't think outside anything. They can come up with all these different dumb things when it comes to this and that, but they don't connect any type of dots themselves. They just go with the narrative. I think that the opposite sex of mine is conditioned very easily like a child. Um, and that could be unpopular beliefs, but opinions, but that's my opinion. Um, and I also think that they serve their purpose just like we do. Um, I really don't like working with other women at work anymore. I think it especially feminine one. Like some of the hard ones, the tough ones. Yeah, that's cool, man, because like they can kind of be like guys. But the ones that are feminine, and most women have that to some degree, or they're trying to portray it anyway with the makeup and all that garbage, and their bodies and like whatever. Um, but they keep on voting for communism, and that's essentially what you're voting for when you vote for the Democrats. Is you're voting for communism. It's a slow takeover, um, and what they don't understand is they're going to be the first to suffer. These people, because the people who are on the right, who know how to grow food, who are pretty tough, who like these. Who do you think a community is going to rather take in? Somebody like me that works hard, that can provide some type of security for the community. If it goes to that Mad Max type of scenario, or are they going to take some like weak, limp-wristed, uh, or obese woman, like weak, limp-wristed, skinny little dude, or them? Because I get my hands dirty. I get my hands dirty all the time. They're gonna pick somebody like me, and it's weird for me because I politically align with a lot of people on the right when it comes to like traditional values and family and stuff like that, and just regular morals. And the people on the left, I kind of align with lifestyle. Because I am progressive in some ways. This is why I'm independent. This is why I don't really label myself. Getting to my age, seeing what happened with the right before, how they turned authoritarian, how they were authoritarian, and now with the left they're extremely authoritarian. And I can see it going the other way. If the right takes over, they're going to become authoritarian too. and I'm a hypocrite because I'm all about people being not enslaved. But most people definitely want to be enslaved. But I just think it's generally better for females to have some type of restraints on them, because if they have unlimited, there's no restraints on them, they, like, look at all the females on OnlyFans. They're not, with all the rights that women have, how much power, which they do have, they have the power in a society, and that's why it's not going to last long. At some point, we're going to, the rubber band, or there's tension on the rubber band, it's going to flip back. You can only pull it so much. It's basically an overcorrectness of what was going on, and it's causing, when you overcorrect, it causes people to go the opposite way. It causes them to want to rebel. I think this is why kids rebel against their parents, is because they do too much. You don't just kind of, when I say like teens, especially teens, that's when it happens. That I think those kids probably have like problems from their environment growing up, but like they probably look at their parents like hypocrites, and that's why they act out and rebel. I mean, I rebelled, I acted out. So, but my kids really haven't rebelled and acted out on me. And maybe that's because they have a man that raised them, not a woman. Nothing against my mom or nothing. I think she did the best that she could for the type of person she is. Like, I wasn't abandoned. She wasn't a prostitute. She wasn't a drug addict. So, like, I can't really complain, right? So, you're going to see more and more of these females be more degenerate the more the society keeps going. And it's going to be more accepted. And you know why? Because men put up with this. It comes back to being our fault. We put up with it. Like, a lot of men, generally speaking, will, if the woman is attractive enough, they'll put up with so much garbage they shouldn't. Because I've done it myself. And they shouldn't. And it's just, what women don't understand is they're in a bubble. Just like the stock market, just like our financials. We're in a bubble. They're in a bubble. Eventually, they're going to wake up to reality. At some point, I don't know when it's going to be. It could be 50 years from now. It could be after I'm dead. I think it could be in the next 10 years. I think we're going to go through severe financial crisis. And I think that at some point, that bubble's going to pop. Women are come down to reality. If I prefer men to, generally speaking, stop giving women attention on the internet completely. When it comes to like liking everything they do, or commenting on all their selfies, or telling them how beautiful they are, and following and just because of their looks. If men can like control their sexuality and abandon them on the internet first instead of actual and real society where men stop contributing with working our butts off, because that's gonna happen. They're gonna stop. Like, why am I working hard? Most women don't care about me anyway. Society don't give a damn about me. It hates on me. So why am I gonna work so hard to keep this thing going? I'll work as much as I can to pay for myself, and that's it. And things I want to do, because they obviously don't care about me. You know, when you have these females that are so superficial that they care so much about somebody's height, and the number one dating site is Tinder, where you just look at somebody's picture real quick and then swipe on them. You don't look at their personality at all or what they can offer, man or woman. It creates more of a superficial society. And then people's standards get higher and higher, and it's just... I'm not saying that people shouldn't have standards, because we all should have some standards, but there is a lot to be said about somebody's personality, because somebody's looks is awesome. That's great. But I'm looking at a lot of these females, and I'm like, man, that she's ugly. Like, she looks good on the outside, but I would not want to deal with her day-to-day basis. I would not want to deal with her. Don't bring too much to the table besides that. Look, so why would I want to sit here and invest a lot of my time to try to provide her some type of lifestyle where she doesn't really offer much besides one thing? I could just work my butt off and then just go pay for it somewhere in another country or something, or in Nevada. If that's my goal, is to only have women for that. Yeah, I've seen so much, like, there's good women out here. I'm not going to say there isn't. I'm just saying that it's just becoming more and more prevalent. Where women don't even take care of their own house. They don't even take care of themselves. They might doll themselves up for the internet. But I guarantee you, if you take that screen away and use to see, like, how she really lives, it's not what she portrays. And that's why they always have their makeup on. This is what women used to do when they went out in public. They always wanted to look good when they went out in public. But you see more and more women not giving a damn how they look in public, which is kind of curious, because somebody can just film them, see them look scuzzy, and they'll be on the internet. But it's just degeneracy, and people like me, men like me, we can't hold women accountable. There's nothing that we can say, because it just won't listen to us. It's just like, you're an incel. That's all they'll say. You're an incel. I'm not an incel. Trust me, I'm not an incel. I'm not saying that I can get like 10s that are like 23 years old. I'm not saying that. But I can definitely attract the opposite sex. I've done it before. I can do it again. You know, they might not be like, because I don't care. I like the look of women, definitely, because that's what makes me attractive. But there's other factors. Does she smell good? Does she keep a clean house? Is she not gonna cause me drama? She's not gonna. Man, I was with this one girl's with me one time, and we went out to the movies, and she's like we're in the movies, and she's popping her gum. And I'm thinking to myself, how disrespectful are you? I don't want to deal with you. This is embarrassing. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with the woman's attitude, and she gets in fights with people out in public, and then I got to deal with that shit. I don't give a fuck how good she looks. I don't want to deal with that shit. Call me a pussy. I don't give a fuck. But I don't want to deal with that shit. That's just annoying. I want a woman that's going to bring peace to my life. And one of the funny things is somebody commented on one of my tweets, and they're like, oh, this is so funny. Men think that they know what women want. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, do you know what the fuck do you want? No. Because every time A man is like, what do you want for dinner? What do you want to eat? You don't fucking know. So like, you don't even fucking know what you want. And like, me, I've done a lot of research on women. I have a lot of experience with women. Not to say like I'm a know-it-all. I'm not one of these PUA guys, but I've done a lot of research. I've done a lot of evaluating my mistakes in the past and having a generally good understanding for women. Women don't even understand themselves. I definitely have probably a better understanding of women than they do their own selves. And I know that sounds weird coming from a man. Like, you don't know the woman, you don't know how it is. So you pretty much make your choices emotionally. You know, one of the big mistakes that I made with my exes, and I would think like this. Like, one of my exes, right? I helped her get off of drugs. Severe drug. I was helping her raise another man's kid. She had anxiety. She didn't want to see her grandma before she passed away. Nobody could push her to go there. Her grandma lived like a block away. I finally got her to push it. I got her to go see her grandma before she passed away. Her grandma passed away a couple of days after that. I went to the funeral and everything. There's a lot of things I did for that woman. Does she give a damn? No. That don't mean nothing to her. Like, whatever I've done for her in the past, she don't give a shit. And that's they're not a bank. They don't care about what you've done for them. All they care about is right now. Or what you can possibly do for them in the future. Not about the past. They don't give a fuck about that shit. So, it's not too hard to understand women. Now, dealing with women is different. Dealing with women is very difficult if you don't know what you're doing. But just having an understanding that they're just really emotional people, and they're slaves to their emotions, even to the point where they'll make horrible decisions in their life, not thinking about what it could do. They just think about right now. And that's why you see a lot of people who are body positivity. They don't think about their health. They don't think about the long-term consequences. They just think about right now. Both sides, both sexes. There's a lot of emotionally damaged men out here. A lot of people have been in this society. They've been abandoned as kids. A lot of people haven't dealt with the emotional trauma that they have endured when they were younger, and it's accepted because a lot of people come from broken homes, so it's just like the normal. Well, that's still wrong to have your parents split up and then go to different houses. That takes an emotional toll on you, especially when you're that young. You have a sense of abandonment. You have a sense of instability, going back and forth. One household, one environment does things one way, and the other one does things another way. You might have one parent that is lenient and the other one that's strict, and it messes with kids, because kids need like the same routine. That's what they need, the same type of routine when they're young like that. They don't need to be everywhere. That's why I say a lot of these single moms they should try to work it out with the fathers. They should think twice about leaving, unless like the guy is completely toxic, like he's beating her or he's doing drugs. Like, why are you leaving him because you're bored? Is it because you're listening to your girlfriends that are single? They're giving you horrible advice because their lives suck, and they might portray like it's like they're happy. It's like, I think in my opinion, what I've seen, I think that when a woman has been ran through with a lot of different guys, I think that she loses a lot of emotional attachment for people, for men. It's hard for her to pair bond, I think. It's almost like there's nothing there anymore. in our society, if these feminists, like, they are their own man of their life. What is the point of me? Except for one thing. What is the point of for me? You've already got your stuff. You've already built your life, which is cool. But it's not like, but you want me to, um, like, these women that are independent, I'm saying. Um, what is the point of me? And most men do not want to be a house husband. Most men don't want to take care of kids. It's not really in our nature. We're not very nurturing people. For me, since my kids were younger, you know, I've had to sacrifice a lot. And that's what happens when you're a parent. You have to sacrifice a lot. I'm aware that a parent needs to be in the house all the time. All the time. So, I probably should have had multiple jobs. But I chose a more humble, lower lifestyle. So, my kids had a parent in the house. As much as I could. So I had to work. And that's the type of mentality that these people need to have when they have a family, is like, you have to accept a lower standard of living if you want emotionally intelligent kids. I'm not saying that my kids are perfect or nothing like that. They haven't been in the best environment they could have been. But I guarantee you, not to say nothing bad about my kid's mom or nothing like that. But this is generally speaking, you know, if a woman raises kids on her own, most of those kids most of the people in prison are from single moms. Like, they have severe problems. They're not being taught how to be men, or they don't have that masculine figure. So it's just like, they need a parent at the house to make sure everything's good. They need to make sure that everything's clean. It's a good environment. They're not having shenanigans. Like, if I was gone all the time, say I was a truck driver or something, I'm only home once a week or something, and my kids are by themselves all the time as teenagers, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? They're going to start bringing their friends over. And when their friends could bring something bad into the house. So the kids need a parent there daily. That's why I think it's best for people to stay together. Like, you made a commitment to somebody. You had kids with them. And I'm a hypocrite. You can look at me a hypocrite. You say, yeah, you're a damn hypocrite because you got divorced and it don't work out with your kid, with your ex-wife. You can say that, and I take full responsibility for not working out with. You can look at me like I'm an idiot and say, like, your advice is stupid because you didn't follow yourself. Well, what you could say is, I want to learn from your mistakes. Pick better people in your life. My ex-wife should have picked a better man for her. I should have picked a better woman for me. There's people want to rush things. Don't rush it. Just take it easy. Get to know that person. You have to make sure you align up with them really well before you start a family. That's a huge thing to bring a kid into this world, especially now. It's expensive. There's a lot that goes along with it. You're gonna have to sacrifice a lot, and that's what being a parent is. It's like a lot of sacrificing for your kids. Perhaps I might have had a little bit more when it comes to material things as a kid than my kids have. I think it's kind of equals out, but I might have had a little bit more. I mean, they had Nike shoes and stuff like that, name brand stuff, and I really didn't. But at the time, I think that at the time where I was living, you didn't really have that stuff in excess as we have it now. I think that I probably had a little bit higher of a standard of living. I mean, at one point I had a swimming pool in my house, in-ground swimming pool. But what is better about them, from what I was raised in, they've had a good, stable man in their life to give them some type of a direction or example. Not to say I'm like the most alpha, strongest example of a man, but they have something. They see the hardworkingness. I go to work, I pay my bills, they have a roof over their head, they always have food, they always have their necessities taken care of. And their security is taken care of. Um, but that's it.